Hello everybody and welcome to Project Trade. It's the trading highlights show and we are starting a strategy today which mixes technical indicators with a hint of price structure. It's called the Heikin-Ashi strategy and it is a trend hunting strategy which is going to use 3 indicators for entry. We have our first market filter, which is the smooth moving average. It calculates the average price across the look back and presents its results as data points on your price chart. From the moving average family, it is a slower responder than a lot of other moving averages such as the exponential average, but hopefully for us that just means we get more consistent signals from it. Here's an example of how it looks, and you can see in the inputs that we're setting it with a pretty lengthy extended look back of 300 periods. We're trying for a more consistent long-term view of price. Then our second market filter will be the awesome oscillator, calculated as a 34 period simple moving average subtracted from a 5 period simple moving average. The result is printed out as a histogram with a 0 line crossover. There it is, and we are using the default settings as we can only assume that creator Bill Williams despised people meddling with the settings to try and tweak the indicator for improvement. Not possible to do on most trading platforms, but if you do want to change the colors, then you should be able to. They are usually generous enough to allow that. Finally, our third indicator, which brings in the element of price structure, is the changing of the traditional candlesticks to become Heikin-Ashi candlesticks. Heikin-Ashi candles have the same visual aspects as traditional Japanese candlesticks, as they still have a candle body which can have upper and or lower wicks. Those elements of the candle are calculated differently for Heikin-Ashi candles though, with the aim of smoothing out the price action. Here's an example of what they look like. We've removed all of the regular price data and left just the Heikin-Ashi candles, as that is what we'll be taking our signals from. The normal candles will be irrelevant to us, but we'll still have a bid price line at least tracking the price. We have made videos on all 3 of the entry indicators that we'll be using, and those videos are linked in the description if you do want to know more. So what are the entry signals we're actually taking? Let's check the criteria. Firstly, for our 300 period smooth moving average, we'll only be taking buy signals when price is above the average, and we'll only be taking sell signals when price is below the average. Secondly, for our awesome oscillator, we'll only be taking buy signals when the histogram value is above 0, and we'll only be taking sell signals when the histogram value is below 0. So we have to have those 2 indicators matching up as either a buy signal or a sell signal for us to look at the final part of our entry. If both of the filter indicators give us the go ahead to buy, then we'll enter a buy trade after the close of the first blue Heikin-Ashi candle following an orange candle. Here's an example chart where price is above the 300 period moving average and the awesome oscillator is above 0 for a long stretch, so we know from that it's buy trades we're after, and from then there's plenty of signals coming through on the Heikin-Ashi. Here they are. The green candles are the first blue candle coming after an orange, and so we would enter as those candles are about to close. Do all of those signals look perfect? No, but I'm yet to find a strategy where that's the case. We take the good with the bad and just hope that the good prevails. It won't be all buy trades though. If we've got both filter indicators on the side of selling, then we'll sell after the close of the first orange Heikin-Ashi candle following a blue candle. An example chart with some of those entries on here, and so we're going in after the close of those red bars that we've substituted the appropriate candles for. Again, there's a couple good entry signals in there and a few questionable signals in the range. It happens anywhere, but the key is how we manage our money to make sure those bad signals don't cost us too much of our capital. And guess who? It's the average true range indicator, which is going to measure out our risk for us based on price volatility. The ATR calculates the average price range from high to low over a given number of periods, and we'll be using the default input look back of 14 periods. That's what the ATR looks like, just in case you've never seen it. A 1-line oscillator, and we can see the ATR value circled in the top left corner. That's just a quick summary of it. If you do want to see our video of the ATR, you know where to find it. But let's get back to our trade, and it's important to first know that we'll be splitting off our single trade into 3 sub trades. Sub trade A will have both a stop loss and a take profit at 1 times the average true range value from our entry price. Sub trade B will also have a stop loss at 1 times the ATR value from our entry price, but the take profit will be 2 times the ATR value from our entry price. And finally, our sub trade C will have a trailing stop loss at 1 times the ATR value from our entry price. So quite varied in terms of how we'll try to take profits, but as you can tell, if the trade does go 1 times ATR value back from our entry price, it will hit the stop loss for all of our trades. If that happens, it will be a total loss of 1.5% of our capital that we lose on the trades, as each of those sub trades have a capital risk value attached to them of 0.5%. Some more precautions though, as we are incredibly allergic to capital loss. We will exit the trade if price closes across the smooth moving average, because at that point the signal it originally gave us would be lost. And we'll also exit the trade if the awesome oscillator closes on the opposite side of 0 from what led us into the trade to begin with as well. And we'll also exit the trade if the Heikin-Ashi candles close a different color. So if we're in on a buy trade from a blue candle, then we'd exit from the close of an orange candle. This is something which we could see occur regularly when price is in a range, as sometimes even the Heikin-Ashi is unsure of which way to go. We're hunting trends, so if we do mistakenly find ourselves in a range, then it makes sense for us to get out of the trade. Okay, all of that should be enough capital protection for us. We'll be trading the strategy on the daily time frame, and because we don't want to have to wait around too long for a signal, we'll be trading on all of the Forex major and minor currency pairs, but with only one trade open per currency at any given time. Our trades will be journaled as well. We need a proper way to be able to look back at our trades in the cold light of day for true analysis, and so a journal is the answer to a question we never asked. That's all the rules and information that we need to give the strategy a try, so let's jump into the platform and do just that. We are on the charts. We've got the Euro US dollar pair pulled up, just gone 11:30 right at the end of the day, only 25 minutes to go, which means that this candle has almost closed, and so we've got a near full set of information. Just got this first one up to just do an example of what we're looking for exactly. We do see price is below the moving average, so that's our first market filter telling us we can get into sell trades. And our awesome oscillator histogram, that's below the 0 line, which means our second market filter is also telling us we can take sell signals. This latest candle has come blue though. If we see an orange one form in the coming days, that'll be a sell signal on the Euro US dollar. That's what we're looking for, those type of signals, either that or obviously the reverse for buy signals, price above the average, awesome oscillator above 0, first blue candle to form. So all we're going to do now is look through all of those major and minor currency pairs, see if we've got any entry signals out there or anything else interesting going on the charts. Here we go already. This is our first entry signal. We're on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar pairing. Aussie Caddy, price below the average, awesome oscillator below 0. And we are seeing the formation of the first orange candle in the pattern, which means we do indeed have a sell signal on this chart. We're not going to dive in with it straight away. Let's just have a look at the other charts and see if we've got any other signals out there. On the Swiss franc Japanese yen pair, mostly just checking out this big buy run that's been going on, and this is one example of many currencies against the Japanese yen. We're seeing strong trends against them. Would have been good to be in on something like this. On the Euro Swiss franc, we're seeing the first blue candle, both of our filters giving us sell signals though, and that does mean we can watch for the formation of an orange one in the days to come, and that'll be a sell trade. Great British pound Australian dollar, first blue candle comes, price is above the moving average, but not the awesome oscillator, no signal for us. There are no other competing signals out there in the markets, and that does mean we can take our sell trade on the Australian dollar Canadian dollar pairing. We will need our average true range indicator. Don't forget, all of our stop losses will be 1 times ATR value from our entry price, and that ATR value is 52.1 pips. We've got a starting balance of $5,991.43, and we are going to be getting into our 3 sub trades, each with 0.5% risk attached to them. So you can see how that risk is calculated on screen now for each of the sub trades, and we'll sell off the market. There's our 3 sub trades, each of them risking around about $30. First off, we can do our stop loss and take profit for sub trade A. That is 1 times ATR to the stop loss and 1 times to the take profit too. So 521 points and 521 points. Now let's move to sub trade B, which will be 521 points to the stop loss again, but 1,042 points to our take profit. Can just about see that there. And sub trade C, this is our trailing stop loss, so we can go on here, we can customize that, and we can set our trailing stop loss at 521 points. Now you can see that stop loss hasn't actually kicked into effect yet, and it won't move into effect unless price goes that far in our favor, so it'd have to move 52 pips before that trailing stop loss started doing its job, and that means we'll have to set the stop loss for the trade anyway. And again though, it'll just be 521 points. There we go then, that is us all finished for day 1. We are in our Australian dollar Canadian dollar trade without any fuss, no muss, and not using too much margin either, $471.69, which leaves plenty more room for other trades. Obviously we didn't have any other signals tonight, so now all we do is just let the trade ride, and we'll come back in 24 hours time around about this time tomorrow to see how it's getting on and see if we've got any other trade signals out there. We'll be back then. Day 2 of this strategy. Here we are back on the charts. And it's bad news already. Our trade yesterday already gone awry. Knocked out our stop loss. Let's pull it up on the trade history. There you go. Only took one day. We got knocked out. Price getting really high on the Australian dollar. So total of $88.62 lost. That's $29.49 on each sub trade and 5 cents for the swaps. And to be fair, if we look around, you don't get too many big reversals like that with only one candle. I mean, on this screen right now, I can see this one up here. That's a 1. There's a couple blues in here, but we wouldn't have taken those because price is below our long-term average. So hopefully we won't see too much more of that kind of thing. But still, that means we've got no open trades at the moment. So we can have a look and see if there's any entries out there waiting for us. Great British Pound US dollar. We are seeing the OSCILLATor oscillator close above 0 today. Price is pretty far above the moving average. So that does mean we can now focus in for buy trades. If this flips to orange, then flips back, we're going to be looking to get in. Same story for the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. OSCILLATor oscillator now above 0, so we can watch out for buy signals. Euro Canadian dollar pair turning blue after a long streak of orange. That does mean we are on the lookout for sell signals here. Could be at just a day's notice that these Heikin-Ashi candles flip back to orange. Pound Canadian dollar, let's see it turn orange. Get us into a sell signal. And it is another 0 line crossover on the OSCILLATor oscillator. This one for the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc pair. It's not our entry signal, but we've seen quite a few of these tonight. But there are no new trade signals for us. So we're just sitting on this loss at the moment. Again, $88.62 down. Balance now $5,902.81. But we'll be back again in around about 24 hours time. See if there's any more trades. Day 3, no active trades to manage. We are very aware that we got knocked out of one yesterday. But let's see if there's any other trades out on the charts for us. Give us an entry. And so far looking like a good thing that stop loss did take us out of the trade here on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. It's another strong day, and we can see the bid price line up there quite a bit above the way where we got knocked out. Our loss would be around about double at the moment. Praise be to the stop loss. False idols. Here we go on the Euro Canadian dollar. Heikin-Ashi candle turns orange. We've got them very far below the 300 period moving average. And the OSCILLATor oscillator, it's turned blue at the last few bars, but it's still comfortably below the 0 line. So we get a sell signal from it. Maybe we can get another trend just like that, another 4.5%. Maybe. Let's see if there's any other trades out there for us first. Look at that for a trend on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. No lower wicks going on at all for these candles. Shave bottoms and price is carrying on up. No signal for us though. The Euro Canadian dollar is our only signal, so we can take that trade. We've got our average true range up, and it is reading 79.4 pips for the trade. That'll be the distance to the stop loss. Same as always, 3 sub trades, 0.5% risk per trade. And you can see our risk calculated on screen. It is going to be quite some rounding up from 0.0458 to 0.05. Who feels like selling? And we're in for 3, so we can set our stop loss at 794 points. And sub trade B in there. And who could forget our trailing stop loss trade as well? Set that on there. Trailing stop loss, 794 points. Those are the stop losses, but let's not forget our take profit. So sub trade A will be 794 points. Sub trade B, twice that amount at 158.8 pips. And sub trade C will just stay as a trailing stop loss. Absolutely fine with that. So we're finished with the ATR. Let's zoom out so we can see that second take profit line. There it is. Quite a way to go. And I don't know whether we are going to see another run-off like this. It's been very unfavourable for the euro against the Canadian dollar. And that's been ongoing for quite a while. Price dropping to new lows that we haven't seen since, when's that? Mid-February 2020. So that's quite a while ago. Nevertheless, we are in the trade though, and we are going to hope that it goes better than our Australian dollar, Canadian dollar trade, because that one was a full stop loss across the board. Let's come back in 24 hours and see how we're getting on. Day 4, and we are happy to not be closing this trade out. We can see from our bid price line, the price has gone up a bit here. We're down around about $10 for each at the moment, but at least the price movement isn't enough to shift these candles back to blue. That's sometimes the concern with these little candles like this with the upper wick. The price just makes a move to the green side and suddenly you have to reclose it immediately. And we can tell by the chart that we don't get a lot of them. There was one up here. There's been a few ranges up here. And it's all about these trends, trying to get all that money back for you. Let's hope this rangy looking price action can flourish into something just like this. Wouldn't mind 4.5% out of it. No action for us to take. Let's see if we have got any new entries on the charts. Had a day of retracement on the US dollar Japanese yen, and it's enough to flip the Heikin-Ashi to orange. Maybe this run's got a third part to it, the return, the finale of the trilogy. That's part 1, part 2 there. Let's have another part 3. How much was in that one? Oh yeah, about 3%. Wouldn't mind, with some luck and all that. Be interesting to see if we get a turnaround on this Australian dollar Canadian dollar chart. Strong upward candles coming, but we've still got price below the average or some oscillator below zero. Wouldn't mind some orange. One of these runs, not little candles like that. You know, these 1ers or 2ers. Don't want those. We want the good runs. Steep price down. Seeing the Heikin-Ashi flip on the Canadian dollar Swiss franc pair. Orange candle comes shining through. And price taking a big drop. We can see where the bid price line is compared to the close up here. Let's watch for blue news. Get us into a buy trade. Euro Swiss franc coming in with a signal. We cannot take it because we're already in a trade with the Euro Canadian dollar. So we don't want to be selling off the Euro everywhere. It might actually have a good day. Risky. But this is a more convincing signal than the one we took on the Euro Canadian dollar. To be fair. And again, we're seeing a big drop off in price compared to the close back up there. Pretty bearish for the Euro. We'll watch and see how that one goes. Still waiting for the turnaround on the Great British Pound Canadian. Could come though. There's a lot of close signals on the Canadian dollar. Probably end up taking none of them. But maybe they all come at once and we have some fun with that. Fun. Pound Swiss franc turns orange with price above the average or some oscillator above zero. We saw that flip this week, a couple of days ago. If we see another big blue, some of these moves have been okay. This one here, not much. And this one here, not much. But if we can get something with a bit of chest hair like that one, very good. No trades for us then, but we have got some positivity about this Euro Canadian dollar trade. Yeah, these candles are narrow here, narrowly orange. But all it takes is one big sell-off to get us going in the right direction. This trend right here, this is our inspiration, this is our motivation, exactly what we want. Our golden goose. Back tomorrow, day 5, and we are about to go into the weekend, and we are doing it with some bad news. We're on our Euro Canadian dollar trade here. Hasn't gone all the way to our stop loss. But price has moved against us enough. We can see the bid price line there that it's flipped the Heikin-Ashi candle to blue, meaning our signal has gone. The orange candles signaling us to sell. That has left us. And so as per the system, we will manually close down these trades and accept our loss. It's 2 trades, 2 losses for the strategy so far, both this week. And as I say, not a complete loss, but about 2/3 of the way there. Just shy of $60 loss total. Although no swap, no commission. Very interesting. So we are out of that trade, but maybe we see a more certain orange candle come that gets us back into the sell trade. But we've still got the other charts to look at. Maybe there are trades out there waiting for us. Let's find out. Pound US dollar goes to orange on the candle. First one we've seen in a bit. Last time there was only once. We may see that again. Hopefully a third part of this move yet to occur. Get some profit out of that. Vice versa on the US dollar Canadian dollar pair. Heikin-Ashi goes blue. We see an orange candle come in reversal fashion. We're in. Australian dollar, US dollar lining up as well. If we see a blue candle come, signals there for us then. Same story on the Australian dollar, Swiss franc, potentially nearing a lot of trades. Got an orange candle here amidst all of this blue. Let's see that flip again to a blue and we'll buy that market. Swiss franc, Japanese yen as well. Just about seeing the Heikin-Ashi go orange. Back to blue. And we wouldn't mind a move like that. 4% thereabouts. 483 pips? Yes, please. If it had been the Euro Swiss franc, though, it would have been looking quite nice. It's a good signal there. Probably the 1 times ATR figure would have procced. And moving on to the second. Missed a trick there. Euro Great British Pound looking for the setup as well. A blue candle comes. If it turns orange, you know that we're going to sell. Same for the Euro New Zealand dollar. Really seeing loads of charts like this. No actual signals for us so far, but plenty that are close. Pound Australian dollar turns blue on the Heikin-Ashi. Barely, but it does turn blue, and it is above the moving average. But the awesome oscillator is filtering us out as that is below zero from the steep downward run we've seen. And that's how we'll be leaving the charts for the weekend. 2 losing trades this week, not a good start. Catching some of the mini moves or the mini loss moves, where it's flipping and flipping back both of our trades. Not what we want to see, but maybe there's fortune comes to us next week. We are so close to a lot of signals with these charts. Currencies like the yen, the New Zealand dollar, the euro, they're all lining up positions for us. So we'll come back in 72 hours time after the weekend to see if we've got any trades at the end of Monday. As it's the end of the week, let's round off our trades, take a look at where we're at in our trading journal. That's the journal at the end of the first week then, not the start that we were after. Our 2 trades ending in losses already. You can see they are totaling to a loss of $143.94, and we've got no open trades at the moment. Both these just took little flips back. Well, this one was a big flip back actually, the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. But the Euro CAD, a little bit of a flip back. It's bound to happen. There are plenty of small ranges out there. Just got to be patient, and sooner or later we will get one of those big trends. It's just hoping that by the time it comes, we haven't taken too many of these losses so that we are actually able to make the money back. So we'll be wanting a few good trades next week. But of course, we'll be back.